toujours la colère. Chaque jour même les plus ordinaires. Elle revient toujours la colère. Chaque nuit comme en plein cœur. Je crois qu'elle prend de la hauteur. Chaque jour depuis des millénaires. Elle revient toujours la colère. Chaque jour depuis des millénaires. Elle revient toujours la colère. À croire qu'elles sont plusieurs à nous grignoter le cœur. Chaque jour il faut s'y faire. Oh la colère. Chaque jour depuis des millénaires. Toujours la colère. À croire qu'elles sont plusieurs à nous grignoter le cœur.
Your number all night. I'm always on your team, I got your back, alright. Taking those losses if it treats you right. I wanna put you into the spotlight. If the world would only know what you've been holding back. Heart attacks every night. Oh, you know it's not right. I will follow you way down, wherever you may go. I follow you way down to your deepest low. To give herself enough love. She live a life hand in a tight glove. I wish that I could fix it for you. But instead I'll be right here coming through. Wherever
Je vole, j'ose. Je me sens immense, prête à conquérir les sommets. Et puis, je me rappelle que je suis toute petite. Alors, j'appuie sur pause. Et je me laisse éblouir par le spectacle qui m'entoure. Je m'appelle Tignes. Bienvenue dans mon stade naturel.
Good morning, it is Jen Kehoe here commentating for the 2026 Para Alpine World Cup speed races from Tignes. A very warm welcome to you and thank you for joining us at the Stade de Lognan, as I said, in Tignes, for 3 days of exciting speed racing. Tignes is the 7th stage of this 2026 FIS Para Alpine World Cup Tour, and today we've got the downhill, the first of 2 downhill runs on this course, with one more stop for technical races in Vezina in Switzerland this season to decide all the points for the overall championships. The conditions today, as you can see on screen, it's quite cloudy, whiteout conditions.
En direct de la raquette, on a les premiers ouvreurs qui viennent de passer, les conditions s'annoncent très bonnes pour cette première descente. On a hâte que la compétition commence, de retrouver les coureurs, et puis moi je vais m'efforcer de vous faire vivre l'ambiance parce qu'il y a du monde aussi, des spectateurs qui arrivent dans cette raquette, donc on va passer sans doute une très belle journée.
So for the first competition this morning, we have the women's visually impaired only 2 runners at the start this morning. There's been an update to what you see on screen. We've got Alexandra Rexova of Slovakia going out first and Veronika Eigner of Austria in bib 2. As you can see, the course is looking great, but the conditions are a little low light, quite heavy cloud over Tignes this morning. So challenging conditions, particularly for the visually impaired. There'll be very little light coming through there and a bit of a whiteout. Light wind at the start, but nothing too significant, so shouldn't pose too many problems for these athletes. And for those of you who've been following the training runs, yesterday there was quite a bit of snow on the course. The hill team and coaches did an amazing job at prepping it so we could get a training run off safely. Looks like the snow has compacted, so we're likely to see a slightly faster track than we did yesterday. A bit less bumpy, which should make for some exciting racing this morning. Following the women's competition, we have the men's competition immediately afterwards, visually impaired standing and then sitting competition, and a full complement of nations for these races. In the women's competition, we've got 10 nations represented, and in the men's 16, 34 athletes in total. And you can just see a preview of the course these athletes will be competing on today. A relatively technical course, quite a few small terrain changes, and big ones for that matter, to take into consideration. Lots of opportunity for gliding though, so this course will really suit people who are able to maximise that speed through these flatter sections, but bring in the technical skill as they come into the steeper, more challenging sections. Tignes is a fantastic venue, as the hill comes right down into the centre of town, into the Stade de Lognan, and there's an amazing atmosphere as you're coming down this final pitch, trying to hold on, legs burning. You can see the finish line, adrenaline pumping. It's pretty exciting. We'll be expecting race times of somewhere around the 1:18, 1:25 for the visually impaired women, as we've seen in the training runs. As you can see, course profile and coach's corner there, with a fantastic view over the midsection of this downhill course. So, ready, the women's visually impaired competition is about to kick off. Alexandra Rexova, guided by Sophia Polak, in the gate, bib number 1, and they are off on this first of 2 downhill races. Great guiding there. They're a little wide for Alexandra on the turn out of the initial steep pitch. Really tricky for the visually impaired teams in these races, where particularly when you're trying to navigate a jump and get the timing right, but getting the distance right through the speed events to keep the speed and keep charging. That's quite a big gap for some, but they look to be going pretty well. Alexandra Rexova's third, has come third in all of the downhill races she's competed in this season. She's got an aggressive style, likes to hit the fall line, which does sometimes send her a bit late round some of the bends, the longer turns here. A little bit of speed check through there, but this is nice from Rexova. 1:24.51 over the line. Will that be enough to hold on to the top spot? Veronica Aigner is up next, guided by her sister Elizabeth, and she has been on fine form. The sisters are out the gate and looking to charge. Really nice, smooth line. Yeah, Aigner just holding on to the line, doesn't lose anything around that little right-footed turn there. Taking a nice aggressive line through that S-bend. And carrying the speed well through the midsection. Nicely controlled over the jump. Aigner is very technically precise. She's got quick transitions, good command of her skis. Again. Oh no! Her guide has misjudged the jump and missed the gate after. So tricky. And let's see if we get a replay. Yeah, just coming over that jump. I think Elizabeth just thought she was the wrong side of the gate. But let's see. That is a disappointment for the Aigners. We'll have a slight pause whilst the racers come off the hill. For downhill, you have a clear course, so the racers will either get down to the bottom or get to a safe point and be held by the race officials until another clear point. We can just see a couple of the race hill team sliding the line, making sure it's still in excellent condition for the next competitors. Tignes has a fantastic reputation. It's a ski playground linked to Val d'Isère. Its history as a competition venue goes back to 1986, where it hosted the first FIS World Freestyle Ski Championships. And Espace Killy, the overall area, has a Olympic pedigree, playing a key role during the 1992 Albertville programme, with Val d'Isère hosting the technical events. So we'll have a few more minutes before the women's standing competition kicks off. Unfortunately, the Aigner sisters did not finish their downhill run. So with 2 races to go, that will give Rexova 100 points in the overall downhill standings, which puts her only 40 points behind the Elizabeth Aigner, who's currently in the lead on 380 points, with one more race to go tomorrow. So all to play for. Sarah Choi was in the training runs but not starting today, so we'll see whether she starts tomorrow. She sits currently in second place with 260 points for downhill, so really all to play for in the women's visually impaired competition. As you will have seen this morning, we have the legend that is Marie Bochet from France, recently retired ski racer, commentating at the bottom of the hill, and will be doing the post-race interviews with the winners. She has an impressive career record of 107 World Cup victories, 9 overall World Cup titles and 22 discipline World Cup titles. And in terms of World Championship and Paralympics, 22 World Championship gold medals to her name and 9 Paralympic medals. An incredible career, and really an inspiration for many, many women on this tour. She absolutely dominated the standing classification for over a decade, winning in every discipline, and really was incredible. Now it looks like there might have been an issue for the Tignes team coming over that jump. There we have Marie.
Okay, girls, so congratulations for 2 days. You have a good training yesterday. How you feel today on the race slope?
Thank you so much. It's really nice for us, and we take all of speed races like training before Cortina. It's really important for us, and I really like it. I said it's like real World Cup here in France, so we enjoyed it. Also jumps in the race, so it's really nice.
So cool. So it's nice for the next year with the World Championships. We hope we see you on the slopes.
Yeah, we are really excited about it. So it's really also great training and race for next World Championships.
Okay, so thank you and congratulations for today.
Thank you so much.
Then we had Marie Bochet interviewing Alexandra Rexova and Sofia Polak of Slovakia, today's winners in the women's visually impaired competition. So it's still a bit of a pause whilst we wait for the hill to be clear for the next competitors to go down. So we've got the women's standing competition. Standing competition has the most subcategories within it, ranging from athletes with a physical impairment in one or both lower limbs who compete standing, through to athletes with a physical impairments of both the upper and lower limbs. A variety of equipment can be used. So we'll see some skiers on two skis with 2 outriggers, some on 1 ski with 2 outriggers, and 2 skis, 2 or 1 poles tend to be the types of equipment seen in this class. A close run competition for the women's standing as well. Aurélie Richard from France is heading up the overall downhill competition. on 400 points, Molly Jepson of Canada on 280, and we've then got a gaggle of women in third, fourth, fifth and sixth, all within a few hundred, tens of points. So all to play for. Audrey Crowley or Ami Hondo currently sat just outside the podium positions in the overall. If they win a bronze medal in the downhill standings, finishing above Michaela Gosselin, they could change that podium around. And as I said, we've got 2 downhill races, so 200 points up for grabs for the winner of both downhill races. What's likely to be happening is a course check, race officials confirming that it is safe to run. We had 2 forerunners this morning to confirm the track, but with the light conditions and potentially the snow conditions from yesterday, then they may be doing additional checks, as well as evacuating the Veronica and Elizabeth safely off the hill. We hope they're both okay. Unclear exactly what happened. It looked like a missed line, but we will unfortunately won't know any more information. You can see from the images on your screen that the light is pretty low. It means, particularly for the women's visually impaired competitors, that those micro lumps and bumps, and sometimes the big ones that appear in the track, are incredibly difficult to see and can just catch individuals, athletes or guides off balance, catch them by surprise. Just looking down at Tignes Village itself, through that relatively technical section, sort of S-bend coming into the finish. A bit of a compression at the bottom right with a fall-away gate, which can take you by surprise if you're not on top of the skis. Back to Marine.
Mais oui, mais il faut une sauce. Mais non, mais on n'est pas... Ouais. Et alors, on est en beau milieu des supporters. Il y a du monde aujourd'hui dans la raquette d'arrivée. Il y a notamment le collectif Allez les Bleus, qui est un collectif qui a été monté pour les Jeux de Paris 2024 et qui continue de supporters des Français. Et ben alors là, quand même. Monsieur, enchanté.
Oui, je change de casquette. En 92, je gagnais la descente sur cette belle piste. Et là, je deviens supporter parce que quand j'ai gagné, il y avait des supporters. Donc maintenant, il faut que les Français ils gagnent maintenant. Et puis dans quelques semaines, à Milan.
C'est incroyable de vous voir ici, c'est génial. Vous revivez du coup vos émotions il y a quelques années, il n'y a pas très longtemps, hein, entre nous.
Une trentaine d'années, j'ai les frissons, c'est tout. Et en plus, la piste, elle n'a pas trop changé. Les courbes qu'ils ont dessinées, je pense que là où ça va tomber, c'est avant la ligne finale, dans le grand virage, parce qu'il y avait beaucoup eu de casses en 92 là-haut.
Oui, effectivement, ce grand pied droit, hein, je pense que Romain, qui est en commentaire, va nous en parler, mais il est assez impressionnant. Et en plus, on a les jambes et les bras qui brûlent. Enfin, c'est la fin de la course, donc c'est toujours assez sollicitant. Bon, très bien. Et du coup, vous faites partie du collectif Allez les Bleus, vous êtes là pour mettre l'ambiance.
On est là pour mettre l'ambiance, comme on l'avait mis au Club France, puisque j'étais responsable de la délégation à l'Alpe de la Villette et au Club France, et on honorait les pilotes, pas les pilotes parce que je fais de la course aussi, les athlètes avec la famille, les amis, et nous on vivait pas ça à l'époque. Il y a 30 ans en arrière, il n'y avait pas de Club France. Donc je voulais absolument contribuer au bonheur qu'a un athlète quand il gagne, parce que souvent il rentre tout seul avec sa famille, mais il n'a pas le ressenti de l'environnement qui croit en lui. Donc on a gagné. On a gagné parce que le Club France a éclaté, et aujourd'hui je pense qu'on va éclater aussi les gens.
Et effectivement, en plus, Romain le disait tout à l'heure, mais Tignes, il y a quand même une histoire particulière avec le paralympisme et les épreuves d'hiver, parce que c'était la première fois que les Jeux paralympiques s'organisaient sur le même site que les Jeux olympiques. Donc c'est particulier d'être ici pour une Coupe du Monde de para-ski alpin, mais surtout c'est encore plus incroyable de vous avoir avec nous et donc de voir cette liaison entre les générations. Donc super.
Et regardez, en face de nous, on a un symbole. C'était la flamme de 92 qui avait été allumée pour les Paralympiques, la vasque. Donc oui, il y a des choses bizarres qui se sont passées depuis hier que je suis là. Il y a une remontée d'émotions bizarre, mais très agréable, très agréable. Et j'espère que les supporters des Bleus qui viennent de beaucoup d'endroits de France vont partager cette ambiance bizarre.
On fait des belles rencontres quand on vient sur les Coupes du Monde de para-ski alpin. Donc rejoignez-nous aujourd'hui, demain et après-demain. Supportez les équipes de France et puis vivez ces émotions.
Venez très nombreux, vous allez découvrir des choses auxquelles vous ne vous attendez pas. Et là, on a vu malheureusement une petite intervention avec un couple de non-voyants. Mais quand les chaises, les fauteuils ski vont débarquer, il y en a qui vont prendre peur pour eux.
Mais merci beaucoup, on vous laisse apprécier le spectacle. Bonne journée.
Vive 2030.
Et vive 2030.
À bientôt.
Merci. Merci.
Avec plaisir.
Incroyable. Trop bien. Non, mais...
So we're still on a interrupted race at the moment, waiting for things to kick back off, waiting for the course to be safe for the next runners. Marie there chatting to some Paralympic supporters, Allez les Bleus, who've come down en masse to watch these races and cheer on the French team and also champion the Para Alpine competitions here in Tignes. So next up, the start list for the women's standing competition in this first downhill run of 2 races here in Tignes. Up first, Claire Petit of the Netherlands, LW2 class. Back up to Coach's Corner. It can get quite windy up on that hill. Doesn't look too bad up there today, but pretty windy and not the most fun place to stand, but a great view over this hill for watching the athletes competing. Seven women in this standing competition today. Aurélie Richard, the current downhill leader, out the gate in second position. And we've got Michaela Goslin out third, who was the overall winner in downhill last year, so should be a good competition. And looks like we are about to kick off the racing for the standing women's competition. Claire Petit of the Netherlands. Claire is a really balanced all-round skier. Slightly leaning to technical events, but great across all disciplines. And she is out the gate smoothly, carrying that speed through the first flats of the course. Nice control around that first slightly tight gate and really settling into the rhythm of this. A key for downhill, particularly through the upper section of this Tignes course, which is quite flat in parts, is holding the speed, gliding well, and then being able to switch on to the edges, controlling those turns through the more technical sections. And Claire is doing a fantastic job of that, looking really smooth through the middle section. This long bend coming out as it narrows, got a few turns, and then down into the final S-bend coming onto the finish pitch. A little bit wide over the line, but that doesn't necessarily matter in downhill. Yeah, this is a fantastic run. Great composure by the Dutch skier, safely over the line in 1 minute 23:29 to kick off this women's standing competition. So a little bit wide, possibly getting caught up in the softer snow just off the track. Aurélie Richard from France up next. Richard has a smooth, quite technical style, which should favour this course with its long flatter sections really well. Let's see what she can do. Richard is attacking this, really gunning for it. Nice aggressive line in and out of the jump there. Staying tight through the exit and carrying that speed well. Little bit tight, but manages to hold it and into the carousel. Yeah, carrying good speed, and the clock shows her in the green on both of the splits. 3:69 ahead at the second split. And she is motoring through this midsection and coming down to the final few gates. You can hear the crowd in the background welcoming in. The French are delighted with that. 5.53 in the lead. A little bit caught back on the jump, but no matter. She rescues it well and drives forward into the next turn. Michaela Gosselin of Canada up next, ranked 4th in downhill. Last season, she's the downhill champion, winning gold. She's had 6 World Cup downhill starts. This will be her 7th, and 3 podiums and 2 wins from that. What will she deliver today? Just a little tentative through some of those opening turns, just making sure she's got the correct line, settling into the rhythm. She'll need to find another gear potentially to contend with that run from Claire Petit. Let's see what the split time gives us coming up, and she's behind 2.5 seconds behind. That was a blistering run from the young Dutch skier. Gosselin has a strong physical style. She knows when to attack, and is pretty powerful when she's coming through to the top of the turn, but just not quite finding her rhythm here. Bit wide coming out of that exit. Perhaps not finding the entry, not finding the angle through those blind gates as you're coming over to the pitch. Yeah, we can see scrubbing off a bit of speed, but safely into 3rd position, 7.52 seconds off the pace. Looks a little tentative. May have had not had a great training run, and confidence is so important in these speed races. Next in the gate, Audrey Crowley representing USA. Audrey is a dynamic skier, so this should be an exciting run from the young American. Nice line through the opening turns, and really aggressive through there. That is really nice, carrying her speed well, no wasted effort there, great off the jump. Yeah, really holding that line. A little bit off balance through the that jump there, but straight back into it. Audrey actually came up through the able-bodied circuit, and she has developed a very aggressive attacking line in her speed skiing. A little off the pace through the split, 2.4 seconds behind. Nice line coming off the steep and through the S-bend into the finish. Over into 2nd place, 3.19 off provisionally. Good skiing from Audrey Crowley. Ami Hondo of Japan up next. '83 World Cup starts to her name, so an experienced racer. Just not quite as smooth as Crowley, but nice line through those turns into the midsection here. Again, a bit scrappy coming off the jump, and which will cost her coming into these flat section. So important to stay low and tucked in an aerodynamic position through these flatter sections. And that little scrub we saw just coming through might have cost her a bit more time. So 3.87 off the pace at the first split. Yeah, that's dropped her 6.21 at the second. Motoring through that steep and carrying good speed down towards the finish. Really nicely absorbing the compression there, and into fifth, 9.12 off the pace. A solid run by the Japanese Ami Hondo there. As you can see, it has started to snow, which will not make this race any easier. It will also potentially slow down the track, so some of the later runners might actually be at a disadvantage here. Up next, Shane Vaspi from Israel. LW2 class. Shane is a standing athlete on a single ski with 2 outriggers, developing in speed, carrying good speed there through the flat section, and a really nice line out. Follow Cam, you can see how far across you've got to set up to get into these turns, and make sure you get the right line on that blind gate coming over the roll. 4.66 behind at the first split. Not quite as smooth as she could be coming through the carousel, just scrubbing off some speed. Yeah, controlling that entry in and making sure she hits that line on that fall away gate as she glides through to the finish. .64 into 6th place for Vaspi. Our final competitor of the women's standing is Ebbe Alshaw from Sweden, LW4. Ebbe is a powerful speed racer, with aggressive entries and really able to hold that edge well. As we can see, she is attacking this with everything. Clean over the jump and gliding nicely. Probably needs to find a little bit more speed through the flatter sections. But the green, she's got the green light. Can she hang on to it and upset the standings? She's increased her lead. This is fantastic skiing from the Swedish racer. There's that classic aggressive line through that steep pitch, holding the speed through the midsection, through the flat section, coming onto the final pitch and absolutely gunning for the finish line, taking a very aggressive line, finishing on the right hand side of the finish into first position, 1.92 ahead of Aurélie Richard from France. what a run from the Swedish athlete. Really exciting stuff there. So first, Ebbe Astroe from Sweden, Aurélie Richard second, Audrey Crowley in third from USA. And a good result for France there in second, current tour leader, with the little red bib symbol by her name. But as I said, we've got another downhill race tomorrow and all to play for in the overall standings. Next up, we have the women's sitting competition. Before then, we will hand over to Marie Boucher for an interview with the winners and the we're not quite going over there yet. Won't be long. In the meantime, we can have some more lovely shots of the top of the course. And you can just see how that bend, gate 4, quite a tight turn. Need to set up for that, a couple of gates ahead. Right, over to Marie.
Congratulations, on est pas? Congratulations. On est bon? Okay, so congratulations, girls, for the race of today, and Heba for the win. So I have a question for you. Usually, we don't see you at the start of the downhill. Why you decide to take it in Tignes today?
Well, first of all, I'm super happy. I didn't know what to expect today. Haven't been skiing downhill since 2023, so I'm super happy with the result. I've been sick almost all season, so I try to do as many races as possible now. That's why.
And we have a award for Aurélie because she won the globe today for the downhill. So congratulations, girls, and it was special to win the globe in France with the public.
It's beautiful with the public, the French public. It's just a dream, and I'm very happy to have this globe this year.
Thank you. So we are so exciting to see the race of tomorrow. So good day, and see you tomorrow.
Fantastic day for the French team. Aurélie Richard has confirmed her position as the winner for the downhill globe. Still time for the silver and bronze runner-up positions to be decided with tomorrow's race. Next up, we have the women's sitting competition. Only 2 athletes in the competition today. First out the gate, Barbara van Bergen of the Netherlands, veteran of this Women's World Cup Tour. Before we do that, quick cut back to the winners of the standing competition. And there, in her distinctive pink casing on her sit ski, we have Barbara van Bergen of the Netherlands. I said a veteran of this competition. She actually switched from wheelchair basketball to para-alpine skiing in 2014. And she is a very powerful, aggressive speed racer. So it'll be exciting to see what she brings to this hill this morning. final preparations underway for Barbara, and she will be pushing off momentarily. Bit of a setup for this turn, fourth gate out in the downhill race, and she is straight into it. A great line to carry the speed through this flat section, setting up a little bit of air, and the extra weight of the sit skis mean that these athletes do tend to fly through the air slightly more than the visually impaired and the standing athletes. Possibly seeing a little bit of caution through that middle section. Nice line through the carousel gate and navigating the tighter technical section nicely. I would say scrubbing off a bit of speed through those few gates, warning to get down this run safely. Apologies, there was that was actually Audrey Sicko-Pasquale. We've got Barbara Van Bergen up next. Oh, and that is an unfortunate error by Van Bergen. Just got a bit of air, bit too much air over a roll in the midsection and couldn't hold it, hit a lump, and she is out of the competition. She's moving, so hopefully she will be okay, but we'll have an interruption to the race while the hill crew go and check that she is okay. So Audrey Pascal Seiko, who skied there, we have Van Bergen skiing down. She'll be disappointed with that run, no doubt, but she looks to be uninjured. Seiko Pasquale winning that run, that race, 1:21.72, adding another 100 points to her score, 330. Currently, Annalena Forster sat on 360, putting Pascal at the top of the downhill standings with one race to go. Still very flat light on this race hill today. And over to Marie.
Hello, so congratulations for today. This win secure your first downhill gloves. So how do you feel about that? Because the last years you win the Super G, then the downhill. What you feel?
This is my first season in downhill, so the first time it was like very, very scary. But I know I like speed, so Super G is my favorite discipline. Downhill start to be, and yes, I'm very happy.
Congratulations for that, and we wish you the best in this discipline for tomorrow, but for the Paralympic Games too.
Yes, these are the last downhills before Cortina, so it's a good training, and yes, love it.
So enjoy it. See you tomorrow.
We move on to the men's visually impaired competition next. 4 competitors in the race today. So first up, we have the Slovakian pair, Miroslav Haraus and Maros Hudik, been skiing together for many, many years. 31 World Cup downhill starts, 16 podium and 1 win. Miroslav competed in Whistler 2010, Sochi 2014, Pyeongchang 2018 and Beijing 2022. So veteran of this race, of the World Cup Tour, in both tech and speed. Currently ranked 3rd in the downhill competition. And they are away cleanly, straight into a really good position for both guide and athlete. Hudik just checking behind to make sure that Miroslav is with him. That is great distance, good guiding by Hudik. If you let that gap... Oh, and Miroslav's in trouble. Just caught an edge coming off that jump and went down on the flat section. Let's hope he's okay. So with a bit of snow coming down, there could be some extra snow on the track, and the hill teams will be doing everything to try and clear that away so the track is safe. But with the low light conditions, the visually impaired athletes will really struggle to see those little drifts and lumps and bumps on this course today. Heraus is down, he's got a coach with him. He's sitting up, but looks like he might be in some pain there, so we will likely have a short interruption to the men's visually impaired competition here this morning. Good news, up on his feet. Someone collecting his skis, just checking whether Heraus is okay. Para-alpine skiing as we see it today really has evolved since about 2010. The monoski suspension systems, improved equipment with prosthetics and boots have made a huge difference to the ability of the para-athletes to compete at the highest levels. There's also, we've seen an increase in investment and improved training, and of course brilliant coaches on the circuit, really supporting all the athletes to be at the top of their game throughout the World Cup season. It's also worth noting that while the para-athletes on this tour are competing and training like full-time professionals, many of them juggle careers and studies between training and competition, so a huge amount of hard work goes into getting to the start of every race by athlete's family, coaching team, and everyone that supports. So Miroslav Heraus looks to be walking, and the hill team will be getting him safely off the racetrack. And there's Maros Hudik just guiding him back to his skis. Yeah, looks like he's holding his stomach, a bit of a bruise potentially from either a heavy fall or hitting the nets. Crashing into the nets is never a fun game. They do stop you safely, but untangling yourself if you end up going through them can be tricky at times. Visually impaired crystal globe points. We have Johannes Aigner on 400 points, and will be tricky to catch with these two races. Giacomo Bertagnoli, who was not racing here, is in second place on 300, and Miroslav.
De l'étape.
Over to Marie.
Lou, aujourd'hui tu cours pas parce que c'est de la descente, toi tu es plutôt un bon technicien, donc on te verra sur le Super G. Mais est-ce que tu peux nous parler de l'ambiance de cette compétition à domicile?
Eh bah oui, moi je cours pas en descente, mais voilà, ça fait toujours plaisir de pouvoir soutenir les copains, et puis voilà, on a une belle ambiance, on est à la maison, on a une belle piste, c'est préparé au top, donc voilà, ça fait vraiment plaisir, et il y a beaucoup de monde, donc c'est vraiment plaisir.
Il y a même Elvina, ta petite fille. Tu veux dire un petit mot, Elvina?
Non, tu pas timide.
Bon, bah, on va continuer à encourager les Français parce que il y a Hyacinthe qui va arriver. Et il y a les garçons.
Et puis il y a Arthur, Jordan et Julot. Donc, et Oscaro, bien évidemment, aussi le local.
Back to the men's visually impaired competition in this downhill race today here in Tignes. Johannes Aigner with his guide Nico Habel from Austria in the AS2 class, waiting in the gate there. A bit of head shaking, unsure whether that's a private joke or what. Looks like they might be going back into the start hut, so a bit more of a delay. Probably explains the head shaking by Nico Habel. You can just hear it. There is a little bit of wind at the top there. Shouldn't be having too much of an impact on the races. But it certainly will be chilly for those who've stripped down to their catsuits already. So Aigner, the current downhill leader, 400 points. "26 World Cup downhill starts to his name with 23 podiums and 13 wins in this competition. And we'll be looking to add to those stats today. He is the current downhill Paralympic champion, winning the race in Beijing in 2022, his first Paralympic Games, in fact. He was also last year's overall Crystal Globe winner. See a hint of sunshine peeking through the clouds there, just lifting the light for the next competitors. That will make it a little easier for the visually impaired just to pick up some of the shadows and micro terrain down this course. The Hill team have done an amazing job at getting this track ready following the snowfall 36 hours ago or so. What does happen though sometimes in these conditions is that the track is in great condition, but you can get a build up of snow just outside the blue lines, which means if you get dragged off the racing line, you can get into either slower snow or bumpier terrain, which can make competition tricky. Unclear what the delay is now for these athletes. You can just hear what sounds like the avalanche alarm going off in the background, likely, given the time of day, likely that it will be the weekly test going off in Tignes. Looks like we are about to continue with the men's visually impaired competition. Johannes Aigner in the start gate, guided by Nico Habel. It definitely seems like they are excited and ready to go. But a long wait. Got to keep the energy high, keep the muscles activated and warm. Can be quite tricky in the cold. But we are about to see what the current downhill leader wearing the red bib can do in this penultimate downhill race here in Tignes. Strong push out the start gate and settling into a good distance for these two experienced racers. Really good connection between the two of them. Aigner getting pulled a little wide, but holds a nice line over the first compression roll, out of the compression safely, and really good. It's very tricky for the guide through the flat sections. When the athlete's very close, they actually benefit from the slipstream effect and can catch up with their guide. We just saw there with Aigner and Habel. Caught slightly wide coming through the fall-away gate there, just coming onto the final pitch, but great line attacking, classic Aigner attacking style there coming into the finish, and a final time of 1 minute 12 seconds, 15 for Aigner and Habel. Next up, we have Hyacinthe de la Place, guided by Gauthier de Tessier from France. I'd expect a big roar from the crowd, the home crowd, when these guys come into the bottom. De La Place is returning from injury, having crashed out in Saalbach at the beginning of the season, so he'll be looking to have a safe, solid run. Lovely guiding. They're getting De La Place through those technical gates safely over the jump, a little wide, but holds it back. And now that distance has opened up. That'll make it quite tricky for De La Place coming through and onto the jump. He makes it, and yeah, De Tessier puts in a couple of checks just to close up that gap coming into the carousel and through the narrow technical section. 3.82 off the pace at the second speed gun. They've really closed up that gap, possibly a little too much. It looks like De La Place was catching De Tessier there, but this is a solid run from the pair, their first downhill after injury. Into second place, 5.66 off the pace. Yeah, you can see just on the edge of the blue line that snow is quite soft. Up next from Great Britain we have Neil Simpson, guided by his brother Andrew. They won the Super G in Beijing in 2022 and bronze in the Super Combined. Neil began his racing career on the able-bodied circuit and is a very competent skier, very technical and precise in his skiing, but aggressive when he needs to be, and really good at carrying the speed on these flats. You can see a little mistake there by Andrew, just kicking up quite a lot of snow, which will make it difficult for Neil to see. The little that he can see, 2.65 off the pace. There's a wide line from the British pair there. Down and safely over the finish into second place, 3.81 behind Tignes, but ahead of De La Place. Really committing there out of that jump. And then we have our final results in this men's visually impaired competition.
Congratulations, guys! It's a very good race, and today with this win you secured the gloves, downhill gloves. What a collection for you! This one is very special.
Yeah, definitely. And with this downhill race, the slope was in a very good conditions, and yeah, I think that's the second
downhill club.
second
Second downhill club for us.
yeah, really happy. Crazy season, but all in all, we are really happy.
And it's always nice to win a globe before the Paralympics Games. So you arrived in Cortina with a lot of confidence.
Yeah, definitely. And yeah, we after that race block that we trained, and then we go to the Paralympics. But we have a good feeling, and yeah, it's also a good training here because the jumps and the long turns. It's good.
Cool. So see you tomorrow for the next downhill.
Yes,
So cool. See you.
Thank
Bye.
you. Thank you.
Johannes Aigner and Nico Habel there, and they have secured the Crystal Globe ahead of the Paralympics. Fantastic result for them. Up next, we have the men's standing competition. First out the gate of Switzerland, Robin Kusch. Kusch is the leader in the downhill standings for this season. And will be looking to hold on to that lead. Alexis Guimont of Canada is only 40 points behind those, so tight race at the top. Kusch is off, straight into attack. He's a powerful speed skier. And has really good edge control, as you can see coming down through that long turn. Full commitment from the Swiss skier, really motoring, carrying the speed nicely. Oh, a little off balance through the jump, but holds it. You can see a bit of a instability coming through that midsection, but into the carousel and the down onto the road, coming into the final pitch. Lovely line through those gates. Aggressive, tricky through that fall away gate, but holds it really well and carries his speed into these final turns over the line into the top spot. 1 minute 11.56 is the time to beat. Yeah, a bit off balance over the jump, but recovers it really well and straight back into it. Next up, we have Markus Sacher of Austria, veteran racer and a classic speed specialist. He's known for being pretty explosive in downhill and Super G and pretty fearless when it comes to attacking these courses. Let's see what he can do on this Tignes course. Straight in, tight to the gate, no messing around here for Sacher. Not quite as smooth as Kusch coming through those opening turns. They're in the same classification, LW91, so you can compare the over-the-ground speed with these two competitors. Yeah, 1.7 behind Kusch, and you could see just not quite getting the clean lines through some of those turns where Kusch really held the turn nicely. Great line through carousel and onto the road. But 2.34 into the red and a very wide line out through that fall away into the final pitch. Motoring over the finish and safely down in second place, 2.92 behind Kusch of Switzerland. Nico Pajancic, also of Austria. Quite a technical skier with very smooth transitions, characteristically. Let's see how he fares down this course. It looks like the sun's come out now, so nice conditions. Great conditions for a downhill race. Yeah, this is lovely skiing by the Austrian. Great rhythm. Possibly a slightly tight line on that roll, but he holds onto it into the jump, straight into the line and into the top position, carrying that speed through and into the big carousel turn coming down onto the road here in Tignes. 2.38 puts him in third at the second split. Holds the line nicely through the fall away gate and is absolutely gunning for that finish line. Yeah, beautiful. Little late through there, but well, 2.42, and he takes the second position from Salcha. That was a great final section by Pajancic. Yeah, little mistake there, got the line slightly wrong, but holds it and into second position. Alexis Guimont from Canada up next, also racing in the LW91 class. Guimont is currently second in the overall standings for downhill on 320 points, looking to hold on to that or better it and take the lead off Kusch. Strong start, nice aggressive line through those opening turns. Not quite as clean as Kusch through here, just scrubbing off a bit of speed. Nicely held through the flatter midsection. Thrown back off the jump. Quick to get back in the tuck and drive that weight forward. So you can continue attacking. Yeah, a slightly wider line than both Salcha and Kusch through carousel and onto the road. But he's only 1.71 off the pace. That puts him in second provisionally at the second interval. Motoring down through the long flat section coming across the hill and into second for Alexis Guimont, 1.39 off the pace. Kusch remains in first position with a blistering run to open the race. That jump catching a few competitors out. Up next, Arthur Bauchet from France, LW3. He's the overall globe winner from 2019 to 2025. A phenomenal run, very competent skier across all disciplines. Home resort of Serre Chevalier. And he will be looking for a strong finish today. He's currently on 250 points in the men's standing. competition. A little bit late and wide on that turn coming into the flat, scrub off a bit of speed, but he is motoring. Holds the line well over that roll. Let's see what he can do coming into the jump and the second half of the course. Yeah, nice over it. Lost a bit of speed opening up, but lovely setup into the carousel and onto the road, just gliding back and forth on the edges. 1.06 into the red, coming onto the final section. He has a very athletic style, and Arthur Bauchet of France comes down to rapturous applause into second place, 0.81 behind Couche. Slightly wide out on that fall away gate, costing him a bit of time. Up next in the gate, we have Aaron Lindstrom of Sweden doing his final preparations. Currently sat in 4th in the overall downhill rankings. Finished 5th in Saalbach at the beginning of the season. A strong, powerful start, skating start for the Swedish athlete. Great technical skier, Lindstrom, with a very good tuck. Not necessarily the biggest risk taker, but really good at transitioning between steep and flat and holding that speed across the gliding sections. You can see here, just very smooth. A little bit wild off the jump, straight back into it and onto those edges, holding a really aggressive line through those turns. Nicely through carousel and into the road, and again rolling beautifully from edge to edge to hold that speed. 3.22 off the pace though, not as quick as the race leaders. Just getting caught up a bit low in the line there will cost him some more time. Into 6th place, 4.28 off Couche's pace. Lindstrom looking really good through the top section, but just losing it a bit through the middle and lower section. Next up, we have Andrew Harricky from USA. Didn't finish in Saalbach, so will be aiming to get some World Cup points. The standing athlete with 2 skis and outriggers. Lovely line coming out and gliding onto the flat. So just lifting the outriggers up to get into a tuck and reduce the drag. Hold that speed over the gliding sections. Setting up nicely for the jump over safely, and yeah, good line. Oh, just getting caught up in those the ruts coming out of the turn after the jump, and couldn't quite hold it. That is the end of Andrew Harricky's race, unfortunately, for today. Yeah, just pulled backwards, couldn't quite hold the pressure through that turn. And Harry will just ski down to the bottom of the run. The wind has picked up at the start a little bit and coming directly up the piste, which actually will slow down that first section slightly. Having a good strong push out the gate will really be important as that wind increases. Marcus Nielsen Grasto from Norway, waiting in the gate for his run. Nielsen Grasto is in the LW5 7.2 class, so skis without poles. You can see a really strong push with the legs to get out the gate and onto this downhill course. Lovely gliding through the rolling midsection. Smooth line over the roll and leading into this jump. 3.76 off the pace. Clear of the slightly bumpy terrain that caught Harry out and into carousel, tight out the exit. Yeah, rolling nicely. A little tentative perhaps through this midsection. Yeah, check turn coming in there to control the speed and into this fall away gate. Just make sure he gets around safely. He'll need to find another gear to motor down to the finish now, and he is safely over the line into 7th position, 8.94 behind current leader Robin Kusch from Switzerland. Thomas Groschar from Austria in the gate, renowned for attacking these courses. And you can see he is really trying to squeeze every bit of speed out of this that he can get from this course. Outriggers up, down as low as he can go. Really aggressive line, quite direct. Let's see, over, holds that line really nicely and dives in through the flat section leading into carousel in the road. 2.05 into the red, just clips the gate. It's a risky move with outriggers, very easy to get them caught up in the gates, but he escapes unscathed and carries the speed off the final pitch into the long traverse down into the finish. 3.6 behind current leader Robin Kusch, putting him in 6th position overall, just behind his teammate Markus Sacher. Gakuta Goika in the gate. Great push from the Japanese racer. One of the slightly older members of the tour, but there is a big age range on the World Cup Tour in the Para Alpine circuit. Youngest being sort of 15, 16. Oh, nearly a mistake from Koike there. Just corrects it in time, managed to snip round the gate and carry on. It's an aggressive run by the Japanese racer. He's working those edges. Not quite as smooth as some of the earlier runners, but direct line. And he has closed the gap at the second interval, moving him up to 8th position. Good line through to the finish, and he moves up to 8th. There's that mistake. Very nearly misses the gate after the roller, but just catches it in time. Manuel Rachbauer from Austria racing next. 23rd in the downhill rankings. Leans more towards the technical skiing, but developing his speed style. Another slightly misjudged line into that roll. Again, catches it and nips round. As we're coming down into the jump, yeah, navigating the bumpy terrain through that gate and into the carousel with good speed, just scrubbing off a little bit, which we can see there on the second interval. Lost a bit of time, quite wide, just getting dragged down by that fall away gate. So diving for the line, and Rachbauer goes into 9th position, 7.84 behind Kusch. That fall away gate needs a lot of commitment and a good angle into it to then drive out the bottom without getting dragged down too much. Oscar Burnham of France in the gate now. Big cheer from the start to send him on his way. Burnham is a bold speed skier, commits early and loves a direct line. Burnham's in the LW 682 class, so has 100% factor, so 0 time factor applied. Nicely in the tuck there through the final turns. Getting dragged a little late through that gate, but holding it into 8th. 4.53 across the line behind Kusch. Perfect line across that roll. Getting a little bit open up, but a really good direction. Jules Seguer from France again follows his teammate down. Attacking right out the gate, and a lovely line through the opening turns and into the first pitch. A little off balance there, but controlling those skis and just getting onto the edges. Lovely setup coming over the jump and controls it beautifully. This is a great run from the young French athlete. Very balanced, nice control off the edges. Just having the confidence. Didn't quite get the line right through that pitch and fall away gate. So important to have the confidence to dive down in the fall line and stay strong on the outside ski through that. Into 7th, 3.94 off the pace. Great skiing by Jules Seguer of France. Next up, we have Jordan Boisard to complete the French trio, LW4. Very experienced skier, currently ranked 13 in downhill. Didn't finish in Saalbach. On y va, shouted by the French team, let's go. And Jordan is motoring through, nice line out into the rolling flatter section. Let's see Can he hold his speed? Yep. Slightly wide through the roller, but no need to slow down. A tiny check pace there. Lovely, holds the tuck over the jump, and beautiful direct line through, coming into carousel. A little bit wide, but rolling from edge to edge. Yeah, you can just see it's a little bit late through there. Getting a bit caught up by that fall away. Motoring down to the finish. And you can hear the French fans going wild. Into 8th place, 4.01 behind Couche, and just behind his French teammate Jules Seguer in 7th. Roger Puig-Davy, representing Andorra in the start gate, 6th in downhill ranking. Massive push out the start there and straight into the tuck. Puig-Davy in a very compact tuck there, gliding nicely through the midsection. .8 seconds in the red. Not the smoothest through carousel turn, but holding the speed nicely, and on the outside edge through the fall away gate to carry his speed through that traverse into the final gates, final few turns here. So into 4th position, 2.42 behind Couche. That is a fantastic joint 4th position with Nico Pancic of Austria. That is a fantastic second half of the run. And I'm wondering whether the snow and course hasn't sped up a little bit. We're seeing some really good times from some of the later runs. Now that snow has finished and the course may have hardened up a little bit with the athletes running down it and just sped things up. Final competitor in the men's standing, Emeric Sierro, representing Switzerland. LW92 class. Young athlete, developing his speed, credentials. Absolutely no issue with commitment on this course. He's attacking these gates very hard with a little check turn coming over the jump, but straight onto the racing line and working that edge to hold through carousel nicely. Oh, caught a bit off balance through fall away. He's carrying great speed through the final turns. Let's see what the clock says. 3.92 into 8th. from 16th. That's a great run by Emmerich Sierra. That concludes the men's standing. First place, Robin Kusch, Switzerland. Second, Arthur Boucher of France. Third, Alexis Guimont of Canada. Over to Marie.
So congratulations, guys, for this race. It's always a big battle between you in the speed discipline. So I have some questions for the victory today. So Robin, it's always special to fight against the French in France. So which mindset you need to be in, where you find some energy to fight it?
To beat the French at home, yeah. I didn't do it in Maribel. I struggled a bit in GS as well, so behind two French guys. But it's nice to be in front in downhill here in Tignes.
Ok, j'ai quand même une petite question. La fondue, c'est français ou c'est suisse?
C'est suisse, c'est clair.
Et comme on a quand même la chance d'avoir 3 francophones sur le podium, est-ce que vous pouvez nous dire un petit mot sur l'organisation de ces courses qui seront du coup le théâtre des championnats du monde l'année prochaine? Alexis?
Ouais, c'est incroyable, l'organisation est sublime. Merci à tous les bénévoles et tout pour vraiment les bonnes conditions, puis vraiment la bonne piste. Merci. Arthur?
Non mais franchement c'est incroyable comme condition de course avec la neige qui est tombée et tout, ils ont vraiment fait un travail de titan, donc voilà, c'est cool, on a un parfait terrain de jeu pour s'exprimer au mieux.
Et Robin, j'aimerais que tu dises que tu aimes le fromage français.
Peut-être une prochaine fois.
À demain les garçons, félicitations. Congratulations guys, see you tomorrow.
Well, some good words there from the winners of the men's standing competition. No commitment as to whether Robin Kusch is going to say he likes French cheese or not. So next up we have the men's sitting competition. First up, Jesper Pedersen of Norway, and an aggressive start by the Norwegian athlete straight into this race. Pedersen is the current World Cup leader in the overall competition. Powerful skier, really strong at making the most of the long glides. Safely off the jump with a bit of a bounce, but navigating it could be so difficult if the monoskiers bounce and then get off balance. There's very little they can do. This is a great run by Pedersen. Little low in the line through the fall away and across onto the traverse coming into the finish, but holds his speed. And in with a time of 1 minute, 13 seconds, 49 to kick off this sitting competition. Kurt Oatway from Canada, racing next. Second in Santa Catarina. And sitting in 16th overall in the World Cup standings. Otway, a veteran on this World Cup tour. Very smooth racer. You see excellent control, precision turns coming through. You'll see he's not a risk taker, and he is a very consistent skier. Let's see what he can do for us today. 0.68 in the red at the first interval. Smooth exit from the jump, coming down into carousel and the road onto the final pitch. It's a lovely flow through those flatter turns on this. And a little wide, but carrying good speed across the traverse. Second place, 0.84 behind Pedersen. Jeroen Kamscher is third out the gate from the Netherlands, LW 12-2 his class. Very aggressive style, dynamic skier. You can just see it from the start. He's gunning for that first gate. Looking smooth, holding that speed over the glide. Tight line over that roll. Kamscher can absolutely turn on the speed when he needs to. Just a little off the pace in this run, 0.51 at the first interval. Perhaps not quite as smooth as the first two races on this course. We're seeing that is a lovely exit into the traverse. Let's see what the final time is for Kamscher. 1.61 behind Pedersen into third. Kamscher in second in the overall standings. And third in the downhill ranking. Next up, Takeshi Suzuki of Japan. Fifth in Saubach at the beginning of the season. Very balanced skier, very controlled. Technically tidy skier, not really one to take huge risks. This is a very steady run by the Japanese racer. Just letting that time bleed away. Doesn't look to be pushing this run too much. It's holding a tight line, just potentially not quite got the speed of the initial races. 4.38 behind Pedersen into fourth. Taiki Mori follows his teammate. Fifth in the downhill standings as at present. Another veteran of this tour. He's very experienced and good at reading the course, setting following a good line. Bit of air through the roll, straight into the racing line, and nicely setting up for the jump. Just see how smooth Mori is coming into those turns, carrying good speed down the road. 1.36 off the pace at the second split. Ooh, a little bit low, getting caught in that soft snow. Hangs on and into third, 1.2 behind Jesper Pedersen of Norway. Great run by Taiki Mori of Japan. Corey Peters of New Zealand up next. We can expect a powerful run from Peters. Strong upper body, really sees Peters driving around these turns with aggression. Yeah, you can just see how fast he is across the flats, holding that speed. Absolutely fearless. Slightly wild exit to the jump, but holds on and in to this midsection, setting up for the road. Oh, that was a bit wild. And he's missed a gate. That's unfortunate for Peters. That's his race over. Just late in the line, coming around carousel, and missed that gate, coming back across into the road section. He'll be disappointed with that, but stayed upright and has another chance tomorrow. Andrew Kirker not running as planned today. He was due to race, but we have Nicola Biscayne-Hudson in the gate, representing Chile. So a slightly tentative entry into the opening turns, but seems to have found his rhythm now, coming into the midsection. Nice line through the roller. Controlled over the jump and absolutely in touch with the top racers through this midsection. 0.93 behind at the first interval. Bleeding off a bit of time through the midsection. Oh, and just gets twisted coming out of the road onto the final pitch and skids down on his side. Let's see if we can see that again. Yeah, nicely out, and then something catches him, just catches the edge, gets twisted just before that gate and pulled round. Back upright, and he will ski down to the finish. It's always safer for the competitors to ski on the racing track in these conditions. So while the start team reset the timing and get prepped for the next racer, we can enjoy some of the lovely scenery around Tignes. Still very cloudy, but with hints of sunshine breaking up. Next up, we have Niels de Langen representing the Netherlands. Looks like Coach Falco in the background there. Current ranking in 7th in downhill. The long flat sections may suit de Langen. He's got good flow in his skiing and is excellent at retaining the pace through the flats and gliding section. Let's see what this course gives him today. Steady start. Nice line through the opening turns. A really good edge control there. Over the jump smoothly. 1.56 behind at the first interval. And a nice line through the carousel. A little bit, not quite as smooth as it could have been, and a bit late in the line there. Let's see how that affects his... Yeah, holds on to the fall away well, actually, and is motoring down to the finish. De Langen coming in to the finish line, 2.93 into fifth, just behind his Dutch teammate Jerome Kamscher. Lovely run by the Dutch number 2. Josh Hanlon of Australia in the gate next. Finished third in Saalbach, currently ranked 8th overall. He's good at driving through the transitions. Can he hold the speed on this through these flatter sections? This is looking nice from the Aussie racer. Steady pace. Good line coming into the jump. Nice and controlled. A little bit wide through the exit. 2.03 behind at the first split, putting provisionally into 6th place. Nice line through the road. Can he hold on to the fall away gate? Yes, lovely. Into the traverse. Getting a little bit caught up in the soft snow there. That might cost him a bit in his final time, but down towards the finish, very direct, and into 7th place. Up from 10th, 4.68 behind. Brian Rowland of Canada pushing out the start. Ranked 11th in the current downhill standings. He's known for being a stable skier. Reads the terrain well. That was a nice line over that. Big check going over the jump. Just controlling his speed to get around and avoid any upsets. Taking the pressure off through that turn, not quite as smooth as some of the top runners. Dropping a little bit of time, 4.06. Good line coming out into the traverse though, and into the final turns. Yeah, doing a little bit more turning than he needed to through those final gates, but that is a solid result by Brian Rowland into 8th, 5.03 behind Jesper Pedersen of Norway, who set the pace and has held on to the leader spot. Enrique Plante from Argentina in the gate now. LW11 class. Currently 9th in the downhill rankings, 13th overall. Good setup for the jump. A little bit bounced around, catches it, and gets straight into the business of racing. Yeah, quite a white line through carousel, coming into carousel, but good exit. And nice flow through there. Oh, hits a bump and is out the race. That is unfortunate, and it will be disappointing for Plante. He was skiing nicely, and yeah, just a weight shift at slightly the wrong time catches him on a bump and knocks him off balance. Tignes up next, third of the Dutch racers. Relative newcomer to this sport. First joined the World Cup in 2023. And focused on tech initially, but is branching out into speed. Only 2 more races to go in the men's sitting competition in this first downhill at Tignes. Didn't finish in Saalbach. Let's see what he can do today. Conditions are good. Course is good. And he is away. Lovely opening turns. Carrying good speed on the flat. Over the roll and lovely line out of that roll, which will set him up nicely for the jump. Yeah, that was super. Currently in third at the first split, 1.4 behind Pedersen from Norway. navigates the bump. Oh, on his side. Can he get back up? Oh, it's going to be tight. Yes, he just managed to just lose his pressure on the outer edge of his ski. And drops down, but manages to bring it about. That'll cost him time-wise, but he does finish in 6th position, 3.74 behind Pedersen. That was a good recovery. Ended up very low on the fall-away gate and getting caught up on a few bits of micro-terrain and into some slightly softer snow on that low line there, but great recovery. So, final competitor in the men's sitting competition, Christophe Damas from Switzerland, LW 12-1 class. Another relative newcomer in this field, developing his style. Still really high performance, high standard in this men's World Cup. Well, across the whole World Cup competition, we've seen fantastic performance. Slightly more conservative line through that roll. And again, over the jump, safe and steady. Wide line into the carousel turn. And we're just seeing a double tap on the turn at the top of the turn. Sets a line and then corrects it just as he's coming into that turn, which will be scrubbing off a little bit of time. Down into the final gates for the final competitor in the sitting, Christophe Damas, into 10th, 10.06 behind Jasper Pedersen of Norway, who is the winner of this men's downhill sitting competition. Kurt Otway in 2nd for Canada, Taiki Mori in 3rd for Japan, and then a trio of Dutch skiers in 4th, 5th and 6th. Pedersen has extended his lead in the overall and I think is now uncatchable.
Yeah. Okay, so congratulations guys. The race in downhill in sitting category, it's always a crazy show, so thank you for that. So Jasper, I have a little question for you because you're a victory. We saw that the slope is getting faster and faster day after day, so what is your feeling on the race?
It's just a really cool slope to get to ski. Today was a little bumpy going into the last triple, and the second jump was a little long and I landed a little wrong, but it was fun. And of course downhill is the craziest discipline, but I'm happy to be down here alive and hope to ski tomorrow as well.
Yes, we wish you to race faster and faster tomorrow too, and we are there to show the results. So congratulations and see you tomorrow.
Well, that is the end of today's racing here in Tignes. Some fantastic performance across all classifications and both men and women's competitions. We are back with you tomorrow, same time, 1100 CET, 1000 UTC for more action in the Para Alpine World Cup. Do check out FIS.com in the Para Alpine section for more information on the athletes, and you can download the app to follow the race in real time if you haven't already. Thanks very much for watching. Looking forward to seeing you all tomorrow for some more fantastic racing in the Para Alpine World Cup.
Nous, on est prêts à tout. On est toujours... Ok.
Vous me faites un décompte? C'est quand tu veux.
Marie, we are wrapping up the first race day here in Tignes. We saw great performances, some crashes as well. How was the race from your perspective?
Yes, we saw that the athlete is getting in pressure before the games. We are just 1 month before the Paralympic Games, so we have very beautiful performance, but then we have some crash, and it's always difficult to see athletes is getting crashed in the race before the games like that. So we have very beautiful performance and show, so it's very cool. And then it's a ski, you know.
It's downhill. And the French team was very well represented on the podium today with Aurélie and Arthur. No win? Do you think they can take the win tomorrow?
I think frustration is working very well in the French team, so I think they want to take the revenge tomorrow, and we can count on them. I think they can we have a reaction for tomorrow. I hope so, that we have a win in France. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And we are looking forward to seeing that. Now in French, Marie, on conclut aujourd'hui la première journée de course ici à Tignes. On a vu quelques crashs, on a vu des très belles performances aussi. Comment c'était de ton point de vue?
Oui, mais on voit, là, on est à 1 mois des Jeux paralympiques, donc effectivement, on voit que les athlètes montent en pression, et donc forcément, ça nous offre à la fois des très belles performances, mais ça nous offre aussi des moments un petit peu moins sympas, parce qu'ils poussent les limites, et donc des fois, ils tombent et ils se blessent, donc c'est toujours assez frustrant pour eux. C'est toujours compliqué en fait de gérer une année paralympique comme ça, mais ouais, on voit que le niveau est vraiment élevé et que ouais, c'est monté d'un cran encore cette année paralympique, donc ouais, c'est des belles performances et des belles courses.
On a vu aussi des belles performances de la part des Français à la maison, avec notamment les podiums de Aurélie et d'Arthur. Pas de victoire par contre, est-ce que tu penses qu'ils peuvent prendre la victoire demain?
Ouais, on sait que la frustration marche pas mal chez les Français et qu'ils ont à cœur de réagir en tout cas. Donc je leur souhaite effectivement de décrocher quelques victoires demain, parce que c'est toujours particulier quand même de gagner à la maison en France.
Et c'est tout ce qu'on leur souhaite. Et on se réjouit de te retrouver demain.
Moi aussi. À demain.
See you tomorrow.
Allez, c'est bon?